Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, my students? I hope that you're happy and healthy and that you are ready for today's lesson, which will be listening and pronunciation from the unit 2. But before we do that, let's revise our previous lessons using some exercises in the workbook. Here the exercise: decide if each sentence is active or passive. If you remember our previous lesson, we talked about active and passive sentences. Active, put A for active or P for passive. And remember that the passive sentences focus on the action. The first one, she was upset. She was upset. Is this an active or passive? A or P? Shorten for them. Yes, that's correct. Very good. It's active. She was upset. The focus here is on the person. Number 2, she called the police. She called the police. Is this active or passive? Yes, correct again. It's the same thing. It's active. The thief had been caught. The thief has been caught. So here there's a thief and someone caught him. So, yes, that's correct. Here it's passive. Here it's passive because the object here came before the verb. Number 4, the jurors were selected yesterday. The jurors were selected yesterday. Who selected them? We don't know. So, this is here again correct, is a passive. The jurors were selected yesterday. The jurors are non-biased people. The jurors are non-biased people. They are people and they are described as non-biased. So non-biased here is an adjective. They are non-biased. So the jurors are non-biased people. Is this an active or passive? Yes, this is very obvious. It's an active sentence. Number 6, only citizens are selected for jury duty. Only citizens are selected for jury duty. Yes, it's passive because who select them? It's not mentioned in the sentence. Number 7, the case will be presented today. The case will be presented today. By who? We don't know. So it's very obvious here that passive. Number 8, jurors will not be permitted to talk with family members about the case. As we all know, the jurors are not allowed to talk about the case with anyone, family members or not. Again, the jurors will not be permitted to talk with family members about the case. So here this is passive again, will not be permitted. Permitted by who? It's not mentioned. That's why it's passive here. Number 9, the trial was short. The trial was short. Very good. It's active. And the last one, number 10, the suspect was found guilty. The suspect was found guilty. Where's the verb here? Found. The verb here found. Who is the subject? Who found the suspect guilty? It's not mentioned, so it's passive. Very good. The second exercise, also from the workbook, unscramble the passive sentences. This is a fun exercise. The sentence is scrambled and you have to put it in the correct order or unscramble it. The first one, we have money taken. A lot of the cash register was from. Again, the money or money taken, a lot, the cash register was from. Can you put this in the correct order? Okay, let's see if your answer is correct or not. A lot of money was taken from the cash register. And notice here, taken is past participle. It's irregular verb. It's an irregular verb. Number 2, videotape the caught burglar on was. Can you unscramble this one? Very good. Let's see. The burglar was caught on videotape. Caught as taken here, they're the same. They both are irregular, the form of the present participle, past participle. Number 3, not the hurt cashier was. Not the hurt cashier was. So the cashier was not hurt. The cashier was not hurt. Number 4, been, the police, the burglar, arrested, has, by. Been, the police, the burglar, arrested, has, by. When you see by, you know this is a passive sentence. Yes, very good. The burglar has been arrested by the police. Once you see the word by, you know it's a passive sentence. The burglar has been arrested by the police. Number 5, been, the store, reopened, has. Been, the store, reopened, has. So the store has been reopened. The store has been reopened. Is this passive or active? Very good. This is a passive sentence. Number 6, be, by, alarm system, store owner, will, and installed the. This is a very long sentence. Again, pay attention. Be, by here tells you, gives you a hint that it's a passive. Alarm system, store owner, will, and installed the. Yes, that's correct. An alarm system will be installed by the store owner. An alarm system, this is the object here, will be installed, this is a verb in the future, will be installed by the store owner. The store owner is the doer of the verb, the subject. So let's revise what we took in our previous lesson. If you remember, what's happening to the person with the wallet in the picture here, what's happening to him? He is being pickpocketed. He's being pickpocketed. If you remember the word pickpocket, to take something valuable, a wallet or a watch or money, from someone's pocket without them noticing. In other words, stealing. And we listened to and read also the conversation between Albert and Ali. Albert is telling Ali how people choose their target for pickpocketing, especially tourists. They bump into you and take what you have, and they shake your hand without you noticing. Also, we learned some words here. Easy mark, likely victims, by accident, not on purpose, let your guard down, not to be careful, nabbed, stolen. Are you kidding? Are you joking? Come on, please be serious. And the last one, I'm positive, means I'm certain. So this is today's lesson, listening, which means you have to prepare your pen or pencil and a note, because we'll be listening here and I want you to take some notes. Here are the lesson objectives. Take notes while listening, as I told you previously. Listen for specific details. Link adjacent consonant sound. Link adjacent consonant sound. So, what do you think the man is doing here? What do you think the man in this picture is doing? Yes, he's playing a self-defense sport, most likely karate. He's staying safe, and remember always to stay safe. What do you do to stay safe from crime? What do you do? We all want to be safe from crime, of course. So what are the precautions that you do to stay safe? Again, what do you do to stay safe from crime? This man here in the picture, he learned some sports just to defend himself, to stay safe. Again, what do you do to stay safe from crime? If you remember our previous lesson, some people, especially tourists, they are not alarmed for their surroundings and they get pickpocketed. So you always have to stay safe and alarmed. What do you do to stay safe from crime. So we will be listening now, and remember, as I told you before, to prepare a pen or a pencil and a piece of paper to take notes. So let's listen now. Let's listen, focusing on what I told you before, to stay safe. Let's listen.
Thanks for coming to our safety tips seminar today. This short class will give you important tips and tools for maintaining your personal safety. One of the easiest and most important things you can do to prevent yourself from being mugged is to keep valuables out of sight. Expensive watches, rings, and necklaces make you an easy mark. They are like an invitation to a mugger. I recommend leaving these things at home to prevent them from being nabbed. However, if you must wear them, make sure that they are covered by your clothing until you arrive at your destination. I had been wearing an expensive watch earlier in the day. I took it off before leaving home. Whenever possible, travel with at least one other person. When a person is walking down a street on their own, they are more likely to become a target. Another extremely important and basic way of staying safe is to stay alert. Always remain aware of your surroundings and don't let your guard down. While I walked here today, I was taking constant, quick glances around. This gives you the chance to recognize people or situations around you that are potentially unsafe. If you feel unsafe, quickly walk to a well-populated area and, if necessary, get help. Whenever you can, avoid unfamiliar locations. If you must travel through an area you aren't familiar with, become familiar with it. Before I came here today, I had never been to this part of town. So before I left my house, I mapped out the route to get here. I also made sure to find out the location of the local police station. You might also consider taking a self-defense class. I took a self-defense class last year, and as a result, I feel more confident about my ability to protect myself. In fact, while I was taking the class, someone actually tried to mug me. I say tried because, thanks to the class, he didn't succeed.
Yes, as the teacher said, thanks to Allah, first of all, thanks to Allah that he stayed safe. So, listen to the lecture on safety. We'll be listening again, but let me tell you something before that. Take notes and then answer the questions. Complete the chart. We have a chart here. Things you can do to stay safe. Then we will be ticking the correct mark on things that you do. We'll be listening again, listening to specific information on things you can do, as the instructor said, things you can do to stay safe. I'll be reading it again. Listen to the lecture on safety. Take notes and then answer the questions. Complete the chart. So we'll be listening again and try to focus on specific information related to things you can do to stay safe. So let's listen again.
Thanks for coming to our safety tips seminar today. This short class will give you important tips and tools for maintaining your personal safety. One of the easiest and most important things you can do to prevent yourself from being mugged is to keep valuables out of sight. Expensive watches, rings, and necklaces make you an easy mark. They are like an invitation to a mugger. I recommend leaving these things at home to prevent them from being nabbed. However, if you must wear them, make sure that they are covered by your clothing until you arrive at your destination. I had been wearing an expensive watch earlier in the day. I took it off before leaving home. Whenever possible, travel with at least one other person. When a person is walking down a street on their own, they are more likely to become a target. Another extremely important and basic way of staying safe is to stay alert. Always remain aware of your surroundings and don't let your guard down. While I walked here today, I was taking constant, quick glances around. This gives you the chance to recognize people or situations around you that are potentially unsafe. If you feel unsafe, quickly walk to a well-populated area and, if necessary, get help. Whenever you can, avoid unfamiliar locations. If you must travel through an area you aren't familiar with, become familiar with it. Before I came here today, I had never been to this part of town. So before I left my house, I mapped out the route to get here. I also made sure to find out the location of the local police station. You might also consider taking a self-defense class. I took a self-defense class last year, and as a result, I feel more confident about my ability to protect myself. In fact, while I was taking the class, someone actually tried to mug me. I say tried because, thanks to the class, he didn't succeed.
So now that we have listened again to the article or the lecture, let's complete the chart. Things you can do to stay safe. The first one here is keep valuables out of sight, which is extremely important. If you have valuable things like a watch or a ring or maybe a wallet, try to hide them. For example, especially if you go to places that you are unfamiliar with, that you don't know, and you're walking by or passing by, try to hide it. For example, if you're wearing an expensive watch, just try to hide it by your sleeve, at least until you get out of that area. And the second one here, travel with another person. This is very important. We all do it. I do it myself. Travel with another person. If you travel long distances by car, of course, always try to take someone else with you, because there are bandits, there are bad people on the way, or at least if your tire goes flat, someone other than you will help you. So it's very important to travel with another person. The third one is to stay alert. Always stay alert. If you remember in our previous lesson, the pickpocket they always focus on tourists because they are busy looking at buildings, looking up at buildings. Their guard is down. Unlike that, you always have to stay alert. Avoid unfamiliar locations. Avoid unfamiliar locations, especially when you are traveling. If you go to a city that you don't know, and you know that tourists go to 2 locations, don't go other than these 2 locations. Always avoid, even in your own city, always avoid locations you don't know, unfamiliar locations. And if you had to go there, always locate the police station there, as the instructor did. The last one here, take a self-defense class. Take a self-defense class. So if things happen to you, so you can know how to defend yourself. So tick the things that you do. Tick the things that you do. The first one, keep valuable out of sight, especially, of course, when you are traveling. Yes, I do this. If you do it, just tick the mark. I do this. If I travel outside, I always keep my valuable things out of sight. Travel with another person. Of course, I do it. I always make sure when I go from Riyadh to any other place, I always make sure that I bring one of my friends with me. Stay alert. We are always alert. We are always alert, because if you let your guard down, you might get pickpocketed. Avoid unfamiliar locations. Yes, I do that. If you do it, tick the mark. I do that. Avoid unfamiliar locations. If I had to go there, I always have to know how to get in that location and what's the quickest way to get out. Take a self-defense class. For me, actually, I don't do it. I never have taken a self-defense class. So why is it important to stay alert? Why is it important to always stay alert? Of course, you can have many answers. You can have many answers. You can recognize dangerous people or situations. If you stay alert while you're walking the street, if you stay alert, you can notice people. You can recognize and notice dangerous people or situations. If you stay alert, maybe the crime is not happening to you, to other person, and you can call the police. So staying alert, it might help you or it might help another person. Which of these safety precautions do you already take? Will you start taking others? Which of these safety precautions, as I mentioned earlier, do you already take? Will you start taking others? Of course, this is a matter of preference. Do you do them or don't you do them? It's up to you. Let's jump to the other part of today's lesson, the pronunciation. And pay attention here. When a word ends with the same consonant sound that the next word begins with, a word ending in a consonant with a letter or a sound, and the next word is beginning with the same sound or the same letter, what happens here? The two sounds are linked. The two sounds are linked. And focus on the sound. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same letter, just the same sound. For example, here, listen and repeat the sentences. Practice linking the consonant. Thanks for coming to our safety tips seminar. Safety tips seminar. You don't say safety tips seminar. No. The sound sa, you have to link it together as if it's one sound. Tips seminar. Tips seminar. You don't separate them. You don't say tips seminar. No. You say again, thanks for coming to our safety tips seminar. The second one, this class will give you important tips. Will give you important tips, as if it's just one T. You can see here important and tips. But if it's if the first word is ending with a consonant sound and the second word is beginning with the same sound, you have to read them as if it's one sound. Important tips. Important tips. You don't say important tips. No. You have to, as here, the two sounds are linked. What's the meaning of the word linked? As if they are one. Number 3, to prevent yourself from being mugged, keep valuables out of sight. To prevent yourself from, as if it's one letter F, one sound F, like that. Yourself from. Don't separate them. Don't say self from. No, as if it is one word, self from. Number 4, don't let your guard down. Don't let your guard down. Again, the same thing. Your guard down. Guard down. As if it's one word. I must travel to an unfamiliar area. I must travel to an unfamiliar area. Again, here the same thing. I must travel. I must travel. If someone doesn't know English, he will say this is just one letter. Must travel. As if it is one T. And with that, we reach the end of the lesson. Thank you for listening. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك. أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم.